Mukam karuti vachalam pangum langayati girim yat kripat jamam bandi paramananda madhavam. I bow down to Krishna, by whose grace the lame scale mountains and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Our topic, uniqueness of the Gita. But as Harinamananda mentioned, to speak a little bit, who is Krishna? The question arose in 1936 about Ramakrishna. Who is Ramakrishna? What is the significance of his name? When Rama was born, his father Dasharatha asked sage Vasishtha to give a name to his son. Vasishtha said, "Your son's name is Rama." "There are so many names, why did you pick up that name?" Vasishtha explained, the famous Vishnu mantra is Om Nama Narayanaya. If you take Ra from that mantra, what remains? Om Nama Nayanaya. Ra is gone. What is the meaning? When you say Om Nama Narayanaya, bow down to Narayana, God. The moment Ra goes away, it becomes I bow down to sense objects of the world. The meaning becomes reversed. The mantra is gone. What is the famous Shiva mantra? Om Namah Shivaya. If you take Ma from that mantra, what remains? Om Na Shivaya. That means everything is bad. Everything is inauspicious. So I took the essence of Vishnu mantra, Ra. I took the essence of Shiva mantra, Ma, and gave the name to your son, Rama. What is the meaning of the Krishna? There are two meanings. Krish dhatu means korshvati, means breaks. As a farmer plows with bullocks, breaks the ground, so Krishna breaks the ignorance, destroys the ignorance. Another korsh dhatu, it means akorshati, it attracts. Day and night he is attracting. That means he attracts all the devotees, all people in this world. So that is the meaning of Krishna. So Ramakrishna, the Rama incarnation and Krishna incarnation both came in Ramakrishna form. So in brief I told you what Krishna means to me. Now, time is very short, I shall try to give you some glimpses of the Bhagavad Gita. There is a tail piece in the Bhagavad Gita. In every chapter you will find Iti Shri Mahabharate Shato Sahasram Vayasikam Sangitayam Vayasikam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadshu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Sangbade Shankha Yoga Namoditya Adhyaya. This is the tail piece of every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What does it mean? Shri Mahabharati. Mahabharata is the biggest and the largest and the greatest epics in the whole world. Ramayana has only 24,000 verses. Mahabharata, Shato Sahasram, 100,000 verses. Even if you read the Odyssey, only 33,000 verses. So Mahabharata is the largest epics in the world. Sangitayam, which is the it is all the verses. Who composed this Mahabharata? Vyasa, the great sage Vyasa. Without Vyasa, we cannot think about Hinduism. He compiled the 4 Vedas, wrote the Mahabharata, including the Bhagavad Gita, 18 Puranas and Brahma Sutras. So, this great sage Vyasa wrote this Mahabharata, and Gita is the part of the Mahabharata. In the Bhishma Parva, what is Srimad Bhagavad Gitashu? Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song. Ordinary people sings, but this song is very different. It is Bhagavad Gita, song sung by God. Now, this Gita also is the Upanishad. Upa means near, ni means destroy, definitely, shad means destroy. If you study Upanishad, it will destroy, it will definitely destroy your ignorance, Maya. And it is Brahma Vidya, science of Brahman. There are 2 types of knowledge. Higher knowledge, lower knowledge. What is lower knowledge? Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, physics, chemistry, mathematics, whatever knowledge you get in this created world, that is lower knowledge. Higher knowledge, Jaya Tad Akshara Mudhigammati, through which you can know that Akshara, that Brahman. The purpose of the scripture is to make the unknown known. Ajñatam Gyapakam Shastram. The thing which we do not know, the scripture helps us to know. Very, very interesting. The 2 pages of the book of life are missing. We do not know where we come from, we do not know where shall we go. We find only 80, 90, 100 years in this present condition. So scriptures, these sages tell us what is in the background. So Brahma Vidya helps us to know the unknown. And it is Yoga Shastra. What is Yoga Shastra? Patanjali says yoga means chitta vritti nirodha. It helps to control the thought waves of the mind. What happens if all the waves of the mind stops? When the mind stops, world stops. We transcend the space-time causality. In Manjuko Karika says, Manohi amoni bhabe dvaito na upalibhyate. When the mind becomes mindless, the duality is not perceived. We become established in Brahman, in Atman. Yoga Shastra. Then, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvadi. It is a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna represents God, Arjuna represents human beings. It is a dialogue. Human beings have problems, that I am going to tell you. So then the chapter comes. I just told you in brief, and this Gita is the part of the Mahabharata. It is in the Bhishma Parva. It is just told, it has been narrated by Krishna in the beginning of the great Mahabharata war. There are 700 verses. Krishna spoke 620 verses, Arjuna 84, Sanjaya 40, Dhritarashtra 1. Total 700 verses. Another interesting thing. It is Lord, same God became Krishna, gave the teachings of the Gita. Same God came as Ramakrishna, demonstrated how to practice the Gita. Please don't forget this simple sentence. It is the same God who taught Krishna but did not demonstrate. It is Ramakrishna came and demonstrated the Bhagavad Gita. Now I shall tell you one by one some of the points I wrote down. Bhagavad Gita. It is a sum of life with beautiful language, simple, with profound philosophy and tremendous Catholicity. It is a non-sectarian scripture. All Hindus, there are different sects of Hinduism. You see, there are I think 296 Christian denominations in America. There are many sects in Hinduism also. All sects follow Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. And all commentators, they also write the commentaries on the Gita. Gita is the quintessence of Vedanta or Upanishads. As I told you, it is a science of Brahman, the scripture of yoga, and it is a dialogue between God and man. Gita talks about the harmony of religions. You will have to understand, when the Gita was taught, there was no Buddhism, there is no Christianity, there is no Islam. Swami Vivekananda recited this verse from the Gita in the Parliament of Religions on the first day. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tang stataiva bhajamyam mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Whosoever comes to me through whatsoever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. That is a beautiful message of harmony. During the time of Krishna, do you know what was then at that time? The two powerful schools of Vedanta are fighting. Karma Kanja of Jaimini and Jnana Kanja of Vyasa. Ritualistic part of the Vedas and the philosophical part of the Vedas. These two schools are fighting about the supremacy, who is great. It was Krishna. Do you know what did he do? He built two columns, path of knowledge, path of action. And then he made, I hope he visited St. Louis and made that beautiful arch. He made an arch. He connected with love. Path of knowledge, path of action, he connected and just made an arch and brought a beautiful harmony of these two schools. Very, very interesting. Next, the war of the Gita is a symbolic. It is a war between good and evil, righteousness and unrighteousness. The unrighteous party had 100 brothers, 11 million soldiers. Righteous party, 5 brothers, 7 million soldiers. So, it is a decisive battle. Who will win? Our Upanishad says, Satyameva jayati naniritam. Truth alone triumphs, not untruth. So, battle. Please watch your mind. An unseen warfare is continuously going on in everybody's mind. Good and evil. You have good tendencies, you have bad tendencies. They are fighting, constantly fighting, all human beings. We are all fighting. Only 2% do not fight. Do you know who? An illumined soul and a dead person. They do not fight. But other human beings will have to fight. This struggle is continuously going on. Who will win? In the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya, who got the boon to see and hear the whole war and reported to Dhritarashtra, he said, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Sri Vijayu Bhuti Dhruva Niti Iti Motir Mama. The Sai is the Yogeshwar of Krishna, God, the Lord of the yoga, and this Partha, the great warrior. From that, when these two persons meet, do you know what? There is fortune, prosperity, and righteousness. That party will win. He predicted before the Mahabharata war. Now, some Western people misunderstand Krishna and the Gita. What kind of God is Krishna who had instigated his disciple into war? What kind of scripture is the Gita, which is the perspective of war? These people don't know the whole story. Krishna was reluctant to participate in any party. He gave his army to unrighteous party and himself he became the charioteer of Arjuna. I shall not touch any weapon in this war because both parties are my relatives. He tried to reconcile but failed. Gita is not a martial song or a message of the war. If so, it would be read in the cantonment. On the other hand, millions of spiritual aspirants read the Gita for guidance in daily life and enlightenment. Gita. Very, very interesting that why people read the Gita, though it was taught in the battlefield. Gita is taught in the battlefield. Why? That is the best place to teach Vedanta. Really. Not in the shrine. The best place to teach Vedanta is the battlefield. Why? Two reasons. If you have attachment to your friends and family, you cannot come to the battlefield. And if you have fear of death, you cannot come to the battlefield. So two things remain absent when you are in the battlefield. You have no fear of death and you have no attachment. That is the best time to teach Vedanta. Not in easygoing life, and vainglory. That is not right. It is very difficult to become a student of Vedanta. You need 4 qualifications. First, you need non-attachment. Second, you need good power of discrimination. Third, you need self-control. Fourth, a burning desire for liberation. So in the battlefield, if a person breaks his hand or feet, perhaps you lose one hand or leg, it does not matter. It is perfectly all right. But if you lose your mind, you are gone. Your whole morale, you cannot win. That's all. If you really want to win, you need strong mind. That we find in the Bhagavad Gita. There is no hope for victory if your mind is gone. That happened to Arjuna. Arjuna lost his mind. He had 2 basic problems of human life. Do you know what are those 2 basic problems of human life? Moha and Vaya. Delusion, confusion, undecisiveness, and fear. He could not reconcile that, what shall I do? Confused. And at the same time, he is such a great hero. And at the same time, fear. Seeing Bhishma, Drona, and the great warriors, he was thinking, shall I be able to win? I don't know. In every human mind, we have 2 problems. Confusion. We do not know what is right, what is wrong. I shall tell you one sentence of Swamiji. Do you know what is right, what is wrong? The thing which will make you strong, that is right. The thing which will make you weak, that is wrong. You don't need encyclopedia or unabridged Webster dictionary to understand what is right and wrong. This is the way it goes. Which make you strong, that when you do right, your conscience says you did right. When you do wrong, your conscience tells you you did wrong. That is the way it goes. Then, fear. Please watch Arjuna, the greatest hero of the Mahabharata, who had Pashupat weapon, which can kill all people at a time. Arjuna lost his mind, depressed, down. Very bad problem to Arjuna. Before I go further, I shall tell you one thing. In the Gita, Krishna says, when Arjuna said, drive my chariot between the belligerent parties, I want to see who has come to fight with me. He was such a great hero. So when Krishna drove, do you know what did he do? He just looked those 18 million people sitting in the chariot holding the reins of the horses. He just looked. And do you know what happened? He took all the lives of these people. These 18 million people will be killed within 18 days. When Arjuna was reluctant to fight, I have Nita Sarvevite. I have already killed them. Nimitta matra bhavasebhya sachin. Just be the witness. If you do not kill, they will be killed. Do you know where we found it? It is in the Bhagavatam, in the prayer of Bhishma. Bhishma said these things. Oh Krishna, you sucked the longevity of all people because it is a war. I want to establish dharma. All unrighteous people should be wiped out. Very, very interesting. Each chapter is a yoga which unites us with God. The first chapter is a grief of despondency, and the last chapter is the chapter on liberation. Gita consists 18 chapters like 18 steps to reach the destination, our goal. Krishna reminded Arjuna, you belong to the royal caste. If we do not fight against unrighteousness, the whole society will be in chaos. Fight, but don't keep any enmity. That is a very interesting aspect of the Bhagavad Gita. Yuddhasya nirbhaira bhava. Fight, but don't keep any enmity in your mind. Do you know how to do it? I am going to kill you, but I do not think that I do not have any ill feeling against you. How to do it? 2 ways. Listen. We eat. One can eat just to maintain the health, body, food. One can eat out of greediness, gluttonous, heavy, eating continuously. So Krishna says eat, but don't be greedy. You can rest also 2 ways. Your body needs rest after hard work. At the same time, you can lie down on your bed like a lazy person. So Krishna says, take rest, but don't be lazy. 2 things, same thing you can do in both ways. Fight, but don't keep any enmity inside your mind. Another thing in this Bhagavad Gita which inspires us most, anti-depression. Those are depressed. I remember Swami Chetanananda used to say, a young monk came to him and said, Swami, I am depressed. Depressed? Get used to it. That was the Swami's message anyhow. Anti-depression. That Swami Vivekananda mentioned in the Gita, Klebhyam masmagama partha noitattvayupapaidate kshudram hridaya durboilam taktatishta parantapa. Oh Arjuna, this kind of faint-heartedness, unmanliness does not befit you. Get up, rise. It is a very, very powerful message of Krishna. Really, it is an anti-depression mantra. What happened, Arjuna? Arjuna wants to escape. When problem comes, we try to escape. Many people do that. So what Arjuna says, Shreya bhaktum bhaksham apiyo loke. I don't want to fight. I do not want any kingdom. I do not want killing my relatives, friends. I do not want anything. I just like to be a monk. He wanted to escape. I am one of them. We want to escape. We do not want to fight. Krishna says it will not work. You will have to fight. Another thing we find in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes some people always try to blame others for their misfortune. Krishna says, no, that is the way. Take the whole responsibility on your own shoulder. This is a beautiful verse of Krishna in the Gita. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat atmaiva hi atmana bandhu atmaiva ripuratmana. I love this verse. Raise yourself by yourself. Don't yield to depression, aboshat, depression. Your disciplined mind is your friend. Your indisciplined mind is your enemy. Don't think friends and enemy are outside. They are all within you. That is a beautiful verse of the Gita. Sometimes people say that, Swami, whether a person is spiritual or not, how shall we know? And how can we check ourselves that where we are? In 3 places in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned. First, in the last part of the 2nd chapter of the Gita, Krishna mentioned about the science of Sthita Prajna, the science of an illumined soul, manifested wisdom. That is very, very important. Sthita Prajna. And In the last part of the 12th chapter of the Gita, you will find the signs of a devotee. What are the, I say I am a devotee. The signs you will find Krishna mentioned, you can check yourself that what kind of devotee you are. And the third, last part of the 14th chapter of the Gita, Krishna mentioned the person who transcended the three gunas, what happens to him. So, those are the signs I just told you that where are those things. Then about the sin. You see, in the Christian tradition, doctrine of original sin is in the blood of the Christian people. I am a sinner, I am a sinner, I am a sinner. This doctrine, dogma, put these things in their minds. I remember our secretary took her little newborn grandchild to the church for baptizing this baby. The minister said, hey, you are a sinner, this, that. This newborn baby. My secretary began to cry. But Swami, how can that newborn child become a sinner? Just see. Anyhow, Krishna mentioned in the Gita, Opichet Suduracharo, even a person can do all heinous, all bad things in their lives, but the moment he meditates on me and prays me and contacts with me, he becomes Sadhureva Samantebhya, he becomes Sadhu, holy. And that Dharmatma, that spiritual person, Shashat Shanting Nigocchati, quickly attains peace. Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashati. Arjuna, listen carefully. My devotee never perishes. Those are all great messages of hope to humankind. Next, what am I supposed to do? Tell me. This is the question in the Gita. Tell me, what shall I do, O Krishna? Please remember these three verses. Chapter 10, 19, 11. 10, 19, 11. Read those three verses. There you will find first three lines for you and next three lines for Krishna. Matchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayanta shamam nityam tushyanti jaramantita tesam satadajuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te tesamaham manukam parthamaham ajnanajam tamaha nashaimat mohabhastha jnanodipena vashata. Do you know what do I do? Matchitta madgata prana. Put your mind in me. Divert all your energy to me. Talk about me. Worship me. That is your job. My job, I shall connect your buddhi intellect with me so that you can reach me. Not only that, I shall light the lamp of wisdom in your heart and destroy the gloom of darkness, ignorance from your mind. That is my job. Krishna says to Arjuna, beautiful. You exactly know what you are supposed to do and you exactly know God is going to do to you. That you will find in the Gita. And about some people think what will happen after death in my old age and all these things. We think all sorts of things. Krishna mentioned in the 8th verse of the 12th chapter of the Gita, Moyeva mano adhatsa, moyi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi moyeva, ata urdham nasamsamya. Just fix your mind in me. Moyeva mano adhatsa, hold me with your intellect. Then, Ata urdham nasamsamya, undoubtedly, without any doubt, think that you will reach me. Don't worry about afterlife. Krishna also cautioned Arjuna 7 steps of degradation in the chapter 2, 62-63 verses. There you will find Dhyato Vishan Pungsha Sangesteshu Pujayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamo Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodat Bhavuti Sangmoha Sangmohat Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Bhrangshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashati. These are the 7 steps of degradation. If you think, meditate on sense objects, you will get attachment. From attachment comes lust. Lust, if it is a stop, anger comes. From anger, delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From the loss of memory, it will ruin the power of discrimination. Work incessantly, don't be attached. That is Nishkam Karma, Krishna mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Another thing, do you know what is yoga? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Skill in action is called yoga. Samatvam yoga uchati. Equanimity of the mind is called yoga. Very, very interesting about this yoga. Some people do not understand. God of the Gita is the absolute Brahman and avatar, and again very human with love and compassion and feeling. Ramakrishna's comments on the Bhagavad Gita. You see, there, Acharya Vinoba Bhave was a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. He made a remark. I read 50 commentaries of the Bhagavad Gita, but the best commentary was told by Sri Ramakrishna. Listen what Sri Ramakrishna said. The essence of the Gita, in what you get by repeating the word 10 times, the word becomes reverse. It is then Tagi. Gita, 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 Gita. If you say Gita, Gita, it sounds Tagi, 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 which refers to renunciation. The essence of the Gita is, O man, renounce everything and practice a spiritual discipline for the realization of God. It is from the Gospel. Mahatma Gandhi says, the Gita answers all my difficulties and has been my guide, my open sesame. In hundreds of moments of doubt and difficulty, I cannot recall a single instance when it has failed. It has become my dictionary of daily reference. I turn to this dictionary of conduct for a ready solution of all my troubles and trials. Today, the Gita is not only my Bible or my Quran. It is more than that. It is my mother. Gita. Gita was translated into English in 1785 by Sir Charles Wilkins. Warren Hastings, the first British Governor General of India, wrote in the introduction to the first English translation of the Gita, the writers of Indian philosophies will survive when the British dominion in India shall long have ceased to exist, and when the sources which it yielded of wealth and power are lost to remembrance. This Gita came to America in 1840s. Carlyle sent a copy to Emerson, who is one of the top persons of the Transcendental Movement in Concord, in Boston. And then he wrote a poem on the Gita, the Brahma, about the Atman. If the wretched slayer thinks he slays, or if the slain thinks he is slain, they know not well the subtle ways I keep and pass and turn again. That is a poem written by Waldo Emerson. Now, a few things I want to tell you. Sometimes when we are confused, we want a command from God. I want to listen. Tell me, what shall I do? That happened in the Gita. When Arjuna gave a long talk, confused, Krishna was only listening. Then Arjuna was telling, Karpanna dosha pahata savava pritchami tvang dharma sangmuda chetaha jashriyasya syat nishchitam bruhitan me shishyastyaham sadimam tvam prapannam. Overpowered in the very essence of my being by the will of commiseration, my mind is confused about dharma. I supplicate you, tell me in sooth which is the better. I am your disciple. Instruct me, who have taken refuge in you. Shishya, I am your disciple. I offer myself to you. Tell me. If you repeat these things and surrender yourself to God, you will get command. God will answer. The Antarjami, the indwelling self, will talk to you. That Krishna mentioned in the Gita. Harmony of the, sometimes we have a problem. Our problem is that what does Gita says? Gita says, if you are a karma yogi, you will reach me. If you have a bhakta, devotee, you will reach me. If you are a jnani, you will reach me. If you are a raja yogi, you will reach me. How? It is such a beautiful, these 4 places in the Gita we find direct testimony that all paths lead to God. Look, first chapter 3, verse 19, Krishna says, therefore always do without attachment. I shall not tell the Sanskrit, it will be late. Therefore always do without attachment the work you have to do. For a man who does his work without attachment attains the Supreme. So Karma Yogi attains the Supreme. Krishna, it is God's words. Second, Jnana Yogi. Those who have completely controlled their senses and are even mind under all conditions and thus worship the imperishable, the ineffable, the unmanifest, the omnipresent, the incomprehensible, the immutable, the unchanging, the eternal, they, devoted to the welfare of all beings, attain me alone and none else. That is chapter 12, verse 3 and 4. Then Bhakti Yoga, Bhakta. It is chapter 11, verse 54. Listen. By devotion to me alone, may I be known in this cosmic form, O Arjuna, realized truly, and entered into me, O dreaded prince. So a devotee through love also can enter God. Raja Yoga. It is chapter 5, verse 27-28. Shutting out all external objects, fixing the gaze of his eyes between his eyebrows, equalizing the outward and inward breaths, moving in his nostrils, controlling his senses, mind, and understanding, being ever bent on liberation, ridding himself of desire, fear, and anger. Such a man of contemplation is indeed always free. So this is the way we find that Krishna mentioned that all these paths lead to me. I shall read another passage about Gita by Gandhi. When doubts haunts me, when disappointment stares me in the face, and when I see not one ray of light on the horizon, I turn to the Gita and find a verse to comfort me, and immediately begin to smile as in the midst of overwhelming sorrow. My life has been full of external tragedies, and if they have not left any visible and indelible effect on me, I owe it to the teaching of the Gita. Swamiji, when he was traveling all over India as an itinerant monk, he carried 2 books, the Bhagavad Gita and the Imitation of Christ. Sri Ramakrishna also told the devotees again and again, follow the Bhagavad Gita. Gita is a very beautiful book. Gita is just like our mother. When we are confused, we go to Bhagavad Gita and we will get a good answer. Thank you very much.